Hello everybody, this is Valencia and welcome to my channel Balloons and Business, where I show you the business of balloon and event decor. So today I'm going to show you how I made this balloon wall step by step. And this type of balloon wall will be perfect for occasions like baby showers and gender reveals. So if you want to see how I made this, just stay tuned. Now normally for a project like this, I would use my pipe and drape backdrop stand. This is an adjustable stand both lengthwise and widthwise. It goes from 7 to 10 feet high to 7 to 10 feet wide. And I would definitely suggest this for anybody who is trying to get into the balloon design business professionally. It's one of the more stable, sturdier stands. If you're interested, I will be providing the link in the description box below. I got this off of Amazon. Now, I know many of you are not interested though in purchasing a $300 stand, especially if you're not trying to do this professionally. So I created a PVC pipe stand, which is a fraction of the price. So for the PVC pipe stand, what you're going to need are 3 3/4 inch PVC pipes. And I cut 2 to 7 feet and 1 to 6.5 feet. The 6.5 foot one will be the one that will go on top. Then you're going to need a plywood base. So I got this plywood at Home Depot, and the employees will actually cut the plywood for you. They go as low as 12 by 12 inches. So you got to make sure that your base is bigger than that. And I would honestly suggest an 18 by 18 inch or 2 by 2 feet. But just buy yourself some of that plywood and they will cut it for you. Then you're going to need 2 3/4 inch floor flanges. And you want to make sure the size on that flange matches the size on your PVC pipe. You're also going to need a 3/4 inch adapter. I already put my PVC pipe into my adapter, and that adapter is going to be used to screw the PVC pipe into the floor flange. This is a male adapter, but I suggest getting a female adapter. You're also going to need a PVC pipe elbow. This is 3/4 inches because it matches the PVC pipe that I have. And this is going to be used to connect the PVC pipes together on the stand. Now, I already drilled my floor flange onto my plywood base using some wood screws, number 10, 1/2 inch. And now I'm going to take my PVC pipe, which I already put into my adapter, and I'm going to twist that adapter into the floor flange until the pole cannot twist anymore, and that's how I know that it's in there nice and secure. Now, just a tip, if you would like your stand to be more secure, you can get some duct tape and tape the PVC pipe to the adapter. Now I'm going to take my elbow and I'm going to put it on top of each of the poles. If you would like this to be more secure, you can always get some duct tape and tape the elbow to the pole. Now I'm going to connect the top pole by putting each end through one of the elbows on each side. So here's the PVC pipe backdrop stand. Now to make this balloon wall. So for this wall, I'm using Tough Tex Cameo in 5 inch, 11 inch, and 17 inch. I'm using Tough Tex Blue Slate in 5 inch and 11 inch. And I will be using Sempertex Satin Pearl in 5 inch, 11 inch, and 24 inch. So I'm going to blow up 2 balloons at a time. And then I'm going to release some air from the balloons because they're a little coney in shape, and I don't want that. I want them to be round. And then I'm going to tie these balloons together into a dupe. Now, as I always mention in my videos, it's important to underinflate the balloons because it will make them easier to manipulate and twist, and it will also help to prevent the balloons from popping in the heat. So for the blue slate balloons, I blew up and tied together 36 dupes, which is a total of 72 balloons. For the cameo balloons, I blew up and tied together 32 dupes, which is a total of 64 balloons. 6 of those dupes had a 17 inch balloon and an 11 inch balloon tied together. The rest of them had just 11 inch balloons. Lastly, I blew up and tied together 30 dupes of the Satin Pearl balloons, which is a total of 60 balloons. 5 of those dupes had a 24 inch balloon and an 11 inch balloon tied together. The rest of them just have 11-inch balloons. So after I've tied all my balloons into dupes, I'm going to take 2 dupes and twist them together into quads. You want to make sure when you're twisting your dupes that you double twist them so that the dupes will not come out of the quad. Now for my cameo balloons, 6 of these quads will have a 17-inch balloon and the rest of the quads will be only 11-inch balloons. For the satin pearl balloons, 5 of those quads will have a 24-inch balloon and the rest of them will be only 11-inch balloons. And of course, all of my blue slate quads will be 11-inch balloons. Now to make my balloon wall base, I'm going to take a quad and then I'm going to take a roll of ribbon, okay? And then I'm going to double tie that ribbon onto that quad. Now I'm going to take another quad and put that on top of the first one, making sure that the balloons are fitting nicely in between the balloons on the bottom quad. And now I'm going to take that ribbon and I'm going to go over the top quad and under the bottom, over the top quad, under the bottom, over the top and under the bottom like a figure 8 motion. And then afterwards, I'm going to give a good tug to make sure that it's nice and secure and those quads are nice and tight together. Now I'm going to take a third quad. I'm going to put it on top. And I am going to do the same thing. Just go over the top quad and under the quad directly below it. Over the top and under the quad directly below it in a figure 8 motion. And then I'm going to tug to make sure that that quad is nice and tight. So I looked into different methods of making a balloon wall before making my own, and I decided to go with this method because I believe it makes the balloon wall look more neat and appealing to the eye. I'm also using ribbon instead of fishing line because it's less likely to pop and cut the balloons, and it's more cost effective than using a bunch of 260 balloons. Now notice that in the satin pearl and the cameo clusters, the big balloon is in the middle of the cluster, so it's in that second quad. And I'm making sure that all of those big balloons are on the same side of the column. And I'm doing this because when I make my wall, I want you to be able to see all of the big balloons. So they're all facing the same side of the column, which makes it easy for me to position the columns to where all of the big balloons can be seen. So each color will be in clusters of 3 quads and each column will have 4 clusters. So when I'm done making the balloon columns, I'm going to cut the string and then double tie the excess string to itself and then twist it around a couple of balloons until it's all consumed inside of the quads. So here's an overhead view of all of my balloon columns that I made, and I made 4 of them, okay? So one thing you want to be mindful of is your pattern, okay? So if you started this balloon column with the blue, then the pink, then the white, then the blue, then the next color you're going to start with is the pink, okay? And if you ended this column with the pink and you know that blue was before that, then the next color you're going to start with is the white, okay? So be mindful of that. As you're making your columns, stop and look at it. Look at your finished column and then say, okay, what's the next color? And then go from there. So I'm going to be using some 160 balloons from Sempertex to attach these balloon columns to the PVC pipe stand. So I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to take that 160, wrap it around those 2 balloons in the back, and then tie it to the top part of the backdrop stand. Then I'm going to take another 160 and I'm going to tie it to the very bottom of the stand. Then I'm going to tie it in the middle. So before I add the rest of the columns, I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to tie it across the bottom of the balloon stand. And I want to make sure that I am giving myself another point of attachment on this frame for the balloon columns in the middle to be attached to. So when attaching my second balloon column, I'm going to start by tying it to the frame at the top. And then I'm going to take one 160, tie it around one balloon, and then wrap it around another balloon in the first balloon column, and then tie the 160 into itself. Then I'm going to go down a few balloons and do the same thing. Tie it around one balloon in the second balloon column, wrap it around another balloon in the first balloon column, and tie the 160 balloon into itself. And I'm going to be doing this at about 4 points, attaching these two columns to each other. Then I'm going to attach the bottom of the second column to the ribbon at the bottom of the PVC stand. So this is how the base of the balloon wall looks with all of the columns attached. And I just want to simplify it for you. I attached a 160 balloon at the top of each column. Then I went down 3 balloons and I attached a 160 from column to column. So from that white to the blue, from that pink to the white, from that blue to the pink, and from that white to the blue. And then on the next 2 columns, from the blue to the pink, the white to the blue, the pink to the white, and then the blue to the pink, and so on and so forth. So I just went down every 3 balloons and attached the balloon columns with the 160 balloon. Now before I add my 5-inch decorators, I am rearranging some of the bigger balloons because I'm not liking the way they're facing. Those white balloons are kind of facing in an off direction. I want them facing up front like the rest of the balloons. So I'm just maneuvering them around until I'm getting them positioned to where I want them to be. Now when adding my 5-inch clusters, I'm using a 160 balloon and I'm tying a 5-inch cluster on each end of that 160. Then I'm going to take the 160 balloon, I'm going to wrap it around one of the balloons in the balloon wall. And you want to make sure you wrap it around at least 2 times so it's in there nice and tight and it won't come out. And then I'm rearranging the 5-inch clusters on the wall to cover up gaps and add complexity and interest to this wall. It's really interesting because this wall actually has more gaps in person than what you see on camera. So I had to use a lot of 5-inch clusters to cover up those gaps. And I also ended up using some clusters of 12-inch balloons to cover up that backdrop stand base right there on the right and left bottom, as well as on the top right. So to complete this look, I'm adding some faux florals and I'm putting a small balloon at the bottom of those stems so that they do not pop the balloons. So here is the finished product to the balloon wall. I added this small wood "Oh baby" sign to just finish off the whole gender reveal look that I was aiming for. For this balloon wall, you want to give yourself about 3 hours to build it. It takes a lot of setup time and a lot of balloons to make this wall. I used about 302 balloons total, including the 5-inch decorators. So if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, go ahead on and like it, and please subscribe and you'll get notifications on future videos on balloon and event decor. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.